70 small paper clips and 14 big paper clips. How many paper clips? Let's go back and underline the important information. 70 is the number, small paper clips is the object, and is an important math vocabulary word. It tells me that Gus the Plus is somewhere nearby and ready to bring numbers together. And 14 big paper clips. 14 is the number, big paper clips is the object. How many paper clips? They want to know how many paper clips. Not how many cats, not how many dogs. They want to know how many paper clips. That's why it's important to make sure we know what are they asking us? What numbers do they want us to bring together? When we look at 70 and we look at 14, and we're going to be bringing both those parts together because here it says 70 plus 14 is what? Blank is 70 plus 14. So we're going to start by adding our tens together first. Let's look at the number 70. How many groups of 7 do you see in the number 70? 7. You know by looking at the tens place that there are 7 groups of 10 in 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they use the quick draw method to show their groups of 10 by using a line. So these lines mean 10 and the circles mean 1. So here they have 7 groups of 10. So 7 groups of 10. And we know that 7 tens makes the number 70. But we're not done. We have to look at our second part. And we are using Gus the Plus because they use the word and they want us to find out how many paper clips are all together. How many paper clips are in all? Both the small paper clips and the big paper clips. So let's look at the number 14. How many groups of 10 do you see in the number 14? How many groups of 10 do you see in the number 14? If you said 1, you are right. Look at your place value. There is 1 group of 10 in the number 14, and that's why they only drew 1 line here. This means 1 group of 10. So 1, 10. And we know 1 group of 10 makes the number 10. So we need to add our tens together first. What is 70 plus 10? What is 7 plus 1? Let's look at our cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is our 7 groups of 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we need to add 1 more group of 10. We have our 7 tens from 70, and now we need to add our 1 group of 10 from 14. How many groups of 10 do we have in all? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, because 1 more than 7 is 8. So we have now 8 groups of 10. 8 groups of 10. And 8 groups of 10 makes the number what? Let's count by tens. Ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So we know we have at least 80 paper clips. Next, we're going to want to add the ones. How many ones in the number 70? Do you see any ones? Do you see any circles for 70? In your ones place, what number is that? 0. There are 0 ones in 70. How many ones in the number 14? Look at place value. How many ones in the number 14? If you said 4, you are right. And here are the circles. This shows me how many ones there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 ones. 4 ones. 4 ones. So if I have 80 plus 4 more, what number does that make? You can make that number by moving your numbers into the place value spots. So we know that 80 has 8 groups of 10. So I'm going to write 8 in my tens place. And we know we have only 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to write 4 in our ones place. And that makes the number 84. And when we read this, it says 84 is 70 plus 14. We know by breaking our number into our tens and ones, we were able to add our tens together first. So 7 plus 1 made 8. And then we added our ones, and 70 had 0 ones and 14 had 4 ones. So we had only 4 ones. So 80 plus 4 made 84, which means 70 plus 14 is 84, or 84 is 70 plus 14. Let's move on to the next number. It says, or the next question, I should say. It says 40 green frogs and 25 yellow frogs. How many frogs? 40 is our number. 40 is the amount. Green frogs is the object. And is that important vocabulary words that tells us that Augusta Plus is nearby. And 25 yellow frogs. 25 is the number. Yellow frogs is the object. How many frogs? And that's important too, because sometimes you might see questions that have all different types of animals and they might try to confuse you. So it's important to know, what are they looking for? What are they asking? And in this question, they want to know how many frogs are all together. And because they're bringing numbers together, we are using Augusta Plus. It brings 2 parts together to find the whole number. So we know one of those parts is 40. It says 40 green frogs. So they wrote 40. And so they had Augusta Plus 25 yellow frogs. 25 is our second part. To look at this, we want to first add our tens together. Let's add our tens together first. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have our 4 groups of 10 from 40. So that's here for you. But for us to pull out our tens from 25, they want us to break down the number 25. So they have 25 here in the number bond. They want you to break down your tens and your ones. So when you look at 25, how many groups of 10 do you see in 25? Look at the place value. What number is in the tens place? If you said 2, you are right. And we know that 2 groups of 10 equals what? If I have 2 groups of 10, So let's put our 2 groups of 10 from 25. Our 2 groups of 10. We have our 4 groups of 10 from 40 and our 2 groups of 10 from 25 makes what number? Let's count by tens. Ready? 10, 20. If you said 20, you are right. 2 groups of 10 makes 20, and that's why they wrote 20 here. 2 groups of 10 make 20. So let's add those together to fill in our tens place. We have our 4 groups of 10 and our 2 groups of 10. 4 groups of 10 from 40, 2 groups of 10 from 25. Now let's add them together. Ready? We have 4, so let's count up from 4. So 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 in our tens place. And we know right now that 6 tens equals, we know we have our 4 here, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 6 tens is equal to 60. Now let's look at our ones place. How many ones in the number 25? How many ones in the number 25? If you said 5, you are right. There is the number 5 in our ones place, so I know that there's 5 ones. 5 ones in 25. And when I look at 40, there are 0 ones. So let's add our ones to this picture. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have our 2 groups of 10 and our 5 ones, our 25 is here, and 40 has 0 ones. So there are no ones in 40. Now let's add those together. We have our 60 groups of 10, and we have our 6 in our tens place. How many ones do we have? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 ones, which makes the number 65. 65. And we can check our work by counting up. So let's count our tens and then add our ones. Ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. So we have 65 frogs in all. Now let's look at the next question. It says 17 triangles and 20 squares. How many shapes? 17 is our number. Triangles is the object. And is that important vocabulary word that tells us that custom plus is nearby. And we're going to be bringing numbers together soon. And 20 is the number. Squares is the object. How many shapes? They want to know how many shapes are all together. They aren't having you compare rectangles to squares or triangles to circles. They want to know how many are all together, the shapes that you have in front of you. So let's look at those two numbers. We know one part is 17, because 17 triangles. So it says right there 17 triangles. And, which means we're going to be bringing those two numbers together. And 20 squares. 20 is our second part. Now we need to find our whole number. Let's start by finding our tens. How many tens in the number 17? How many tens in the number 17? We have one group of 10. You know by looking at your tens place that there's the number 1. So let's grab one group of 10. We have our one group of 10 from 17. And then how many tens in the number 20? 2. You're right. If you look at your tens place, you'll see the number 2, which means we have two groups of 10 in the number 20. 1, 2. So right now, this is how many tens we have all together. How many tens do you see? How many groups of 10 do you see in front of you? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we put a 3 in our tens place. And we know 3 tens makes what number? 10, 20, 30. Yeah, right now we have 30 altogether, which is 3 groups of 10. But we're not done. We have to look at our ones place. How many ones in the number 17? 7. There are 7 groups of 1 in 17. And how many ones in the number 20? 0. So let's add our ones to the question, to our picture. So we need our 7 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have our one group of 10 and our 7 ones, which makes 17, and we have our 2 groups of 10, which makes 20. Now we know we have our 3 groups of 10 in our tens place. How many ones do we have? How many ones do we have? How many ones were in the number 17? If you said 7, you are right. There are 7 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we know that 17 plus 20 is 37 because we added our tens place together. 1 plus 2 made 3. And then we added our ones together. 7 plus 0 made 7. So we had 37 in all, 37 shapes.